Hello lovely painter people, welcome back to the studio here in Northumberland on yet another lockdown day. Anyway, today I'm going to do watercolour pencils and I've got a little tin of 12 here. As you can see, they're all beautifully sharpened, apart from the ones that I'm going to use, which I've hacked with a knife, because that way you get better angles to them. Sharp bits, flat bits, you can use every bit of the pencil that way. So these are the ones I'm going to use. You can tell those are the ones that are still perfect. I never use anything perfect. Everything of mine is always messy, but I get the best results that way. I'm going to use Langton rough paper, and this is a very handy size little pad. Very handy. I think that's only about £7 on my website. And what I'm going to do, before I start, I just want to show you a couple of quick skies with this, with watercolour pencils. Because what can happen with pencils, if you start and draw on and then wet it and try and make a sky out of it, quite often you're going to end up with lines left. See, you can still see the lines. See what I mean? Now, instead of doing that, get the pencil and take the paint off of the pencil. Look, I'm using my 3/4 inch flat brush for this, and I'm just taking paint off the pencil. These things are fabulous for being outdoors on location, doing some sketches. And paint it on. And then once it's on the paper, like so, it's just like normal watercolour. And treat it like normal watercolour. Wash out, squeeze out, take some clouds out. And again, wash out, squeeze out, take some clouds out. So easy. But you can go darker than that as well if you want. When you finish, by the way, with that, all you have to do is just wipe it out so it's clean again, and then it's ready for drying again. You're not going to hurt it. So, I must admit, in this tin, there's a black. I don't normally use black in normal watercolours I'm talking about, but this is quite nice because you can mix it very easily on the paper, so it's not just black. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with a little bit of an orange. I'm not going to tell you all the colours on here because it means I need my reading glasses, but that one is light orange, yeah. Fairly obvious really. I have a little bit of that in the bottom of that sky there. Just taking the paint off the pencil. Now I'll have a little bit of Prussian blue above that. And now I'll have a little bit of Prussian blue and black. And look, I'm mixing on the brush. Take the paint off that, take the paint off that, paint that on. Bring a few bits down. Very simple little sky. See how easy that is? If I wanted a cloud in there, take out there. Take a little bit more out there. Very simple skies with watercolour pencils. But again, now I just need to mop those out. And no damage is going to come to them. Ready for drawing with. We've got some skies out of the way. You've seen how easy they are. Let's do a little painting now. And this is, I mean, you could use your sketchbook for these. If you've got a sketchbook on the go, use it. But I do like watercolour paper, because you get some nice grainy results. Here I've got a little bit of yellow. Now a little bit of, I don't know, I keep saying I won't tell you the colours no more. This is Van Dyke brown, nice brown. And I'm pressing on fairly hard. And with watercolour pencils, it's like any pencil. If you want a stronger mark, press on harder. If you want a fainter mark, don't press on as hard, look. See? So if you want stronger colour, press on good and hard. coming all the way, oops, coming all the way down there. And these watercolour pencils, by the way, they are part of the Dale Rowney group. They're Lyra watercolour pencils. German make, actually. Very nice pencils, very strong pigment. Now I'll have a little bit of black in there as well. Looks a mess, it'll be right. As I say, I'm just going to use 2 brushes in this. My 3/4 inch flat. Well, I only use 4 brushes in total anyway. 1.5 inch flat, number 8 round, number 4 rigger, 3/4 inch flat. With this one, I'm just going to use 2. Let's use my 3/4 inch flat and my number 8 round. Speaking about number 8 rounds, I get lots of feedback on YouTube, lots of comments on YouTube. Most of them are really nice. With the last one I did, watercolour, this chap got in touch and he said, "What length is your number 8 round?" He meant the length of the hair. He said, "Because I've got a number 10 that's 1 inch and I've got a number 8 that's 7/8, and I've got another number 8 that's 3/4, and I've got another number 10," and it went on and on. The thing is, I don't spend my time measuring my brushes. I paint with them. So don't waste time measuring them. Just get some paint on with them. I'll leave that for the time being there. Now, I'll just slap a quick sky on this. Hold a little bit of matte blue. I have a very simple sky on this one. You notice I don't pre-wet the paper, by the way, like I would with normal watercolours. I'm just going straight on with the wet paint. Green here. A bit more of that. Coming down to about 2/3 of the way down. And a little bit back there. And again, wash out, squeeze out. Get rid of that. Wash out, squeeze out, take some clouds out. I don't want to fiddle about with this one too much. Mopping up. There. Now again, this time with my number 8 round, I'll just put a little bit of green on here. And I've got a light green and a dark green. If you have a look on my website, there's all the colours that are in a tin of 12 and that are in a tin of 24. All the colours are listed on the website. So have a quick look. Saves me telling you all the colours. A little bit of that light green there. Pop it on. All the way across, and you notice I'm doing this whilst my sky's still wet. That way it softens up into the sky a little bit. Now, a little bit of the green. Again, just take off with my pencil. Pop that in there as well. So now I'm popping one colour on top of the other, so I'm mixing on the paper. Like that. Now a little bit of blue. Again, just take it off. And that's the blue of the sky, which is actually Prussian blue. Bit round there. Now, just with a clean damp brush, tap on. Like that. Not like that, just like that. And again, mop up along the bottom. And leave that to dry a second. You've seen I'm mixing on the brush, like taking two colours off on the brush, then painting on. You can also mix on the paper. I want this to be like a cornfield in the middle distance there. So what I'm doing on, first of all, light strokes, straight off with a dry pencil. Coming down like so. A bit there. Now, a little bit of Van Dyke brown on top of that. Remember what I said, how strong a mark you want is how much pressure you put on, how hard you go on onto the paper. I don't want that too strong, that brown. I'm going on fairly light with that. Now, just with a wet brush, stroke across and mix the colour there. Lovely, bright, strong pigment. See how lovely that is? I love these things. Especially, like I say, when you're going out on location, you don't want to spend time doing a full-blown painting, but you want to get something to take back and paint from. You've got all the colours you want here. Another bit of YouTube feedback I got the other day. We did one in acrylics, which was a beach scene, and somebody got in touch and said, lovely painting, but technically there should be a curvature to the horizon line to allow for the curvature of the earth, unless of course the world's flat. There's one answer to that. You should get out more. Now, back to this one. The tree that I've put all those colours on, just pre-wet it. Coming from the dark look. Now across into the light. Into the light. See what a lovely effect that is. And you naturally get a rounded look to your tree trunk as the colours merge into each other. A bit more up here. And you see now, because that black is going into the other colours, it's not just black. Now, obviously, all that is still good and wet. You can see it's wet. So whilst it's still wet, with the tip of my number 8 round brush, I'm just going to pull some of it out, look, like that, and create some twigs. So simple. And you don't have to wet every piece of pencil that you've got on there. You can leave some as just pencil. Of course, it's coloured pencil. So you can have some harder, sharper edges as well. This is still taking the paint out from the wet tree trunk. Just pulling it across it. Easy peasy. Now, I'm going to go back in with my black, just my black. And we'll have a few sharper, harder bits coming in here. And I'm not going to wet these. Just leave them nice and strong and hard. Put some underneath that one. And a few bits coming up here. A bit there. Let's drop that down. Bit of digital art there. I'll leave that for a second to dry. Now I want to get a lot of undergrowth, grasses, rough bits down the bottom here to frame this at the bottom. And so I've got quite a lot of colours going in this look. Starting off with some yellow, which will show eventually. Pressing on quite hard here. Now, a little bit of Van Dyke brown. And I'm just scribbling on with the brush. That's how a few bits coming up. Now, a little bit of the darker green. Pressing on quite hard now. And this is another technique, because I am going to wet this lot, but not lose it totally. I'm just going to wet it a little bit, so I've still got some lines left as well. A little bit of blue, again, blue of the sky, bit of Prussian blue. Looks a mess, it'll be fine. I'm just going to mix all this on the paper. A little bit of the lighter green there. A few bits on the top there and here. And a little bit of black actually. Especially down there. Now, out of that mess, back in with my 3/4 inch brush and wet it partially. More water down here, down the base. There. But I'm not painting solidly, I'm dabbing on. Now, pull a few bits up as well, just like I did with the tree trunk, pulling the wet paint out to create twigs. So, create a few more grasses here with the wet paint from the bottom. All kinds of lovely, yummy colours going on in there now. Yummy colours, another technical term. With the flattered brush, flick up, look. Now, what I've done there, I've wet all those marks. So with that wet paint now, I'm going to split that brush and stipple it on. I've just made another colour on the brush by picking it up. And there we go, a very simple little painting, done. I did say done, but just with a bit of black. I'll just have a few ticks in the sky, look. A few being 3. Now how easy was that? A very simple little picture. And this is the kind of thing you can do anytime. If you're just walking down a country track with your dogs or whatever. Get a sketchbook out or a little pad like this and a quick representation of what you see. Then when you get back, you can paint them properly or not. Just leave them as sketches or have a sketchbook on the go. There's lots of different grades of watercolour pencils. I do like the Lyra pencils because they really are good quality and a good strong pigment. A tin of 12 like that, easy to fit into your pocket, or they come in tins of 24 as well. I use both. You can tell all of mine are messy. Yeah. So I got a tin of 24 or a tin of 12. But if you don't want to push the bolt out too much, tin of 12, it's got all the colours, or the majority of the colours that you need for your landscapes. And for painting people in the landscapes as well. So your tin of pencils, a little pad like that. Where's it gone? A little pad like that, and you've got everything you need for your sketching expedition. As I said, the brushes I only use 4 anyway, but for this one I've just used the 2, which is my number 8 round and my 3/4 inch flat. Aquafine again. Everything's on my website. You should know by now. Everything's on the website, it's all there, and it's all fairly inexpensive stuff. But that little pad, ideal size. And for general tips in watercolour, my favourite book. This is the one I'm most proud of all the books I've done. It's such a handy little book. Lots of tips and techniques in there. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. We'll do another full-blown watercolour one in a few days. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.